All right, today we're diving into a really powerful mental model for dealing with, well, our completely unpredictable world. It's called the Entropic Resilience Protocol. And it's not just about surviving chaos, it's about actually thriving in it. So let's jump right in. Okay, right out of the gate, I want to challenge a really fundamental belief we all have. We spend so much of our lives, our careers, trying to build these stable, secure structures. But what if that whole quest, what if that search for stability is actually the thing that's holding us back? What if it's the problem? And you can see the conflict right here. For thousands of years, we've had this wisdom telling us that the only thing you can count on is change. You have to adapt. But, our modern world is completely obsessed with the exact opposite, trying to predict and control everything. We want to know exactly what's around the corner. And that creates a huge amount of tension. Which brings us to our first big idea here, what we're going to call the stability trap. We're going to dig into why our deep-seated instinct to create a predictable, stable world is frankly a pretty bad foundation to build on, especially in the world we live in today. This quote just cuts right to the heart of it, doesn't it? Stability is death, chaos is fuel. It's a totally counterintuitive idea, but it's the core of this whole protocol. It suggests that when we run from chaos, we're actually running from the very energy source we need to grow. So, okay, if stability is a trap, then what's the alternative? What's the escape plan? Well, we need a whole new principle for this new era we're in, one that completely redefines how we relate to chaos. And the cool thing is, this isn't just some nice idea. It's actually grounded in science. First, you gotta understand the opponent. And in this fight, the opponent is entropy. It's a fundamental law of physics, of the universe, really. It just means that in any closed system, whether that's a company, a project, or even your own life, things naturally move towards disorder and randomness over time. There's no stopping. So if you can't stop entropy, what's the move? Well, this is where this incredible concept of anti-fragility comes into play. And this is so important. It's not about being tough or resilient, just bouncing back. No, anti-fragility is about benefiting from shocks. It's about systems that actually get stronger, more capable when they're hit with volatility, stress, and chaos. Now, that all sounds fantastic in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? How do you put it into practice? That leads us to the practical part of the protocol, the gyroscope mechanism. This is the how-to, the way you can actually turn chaos from a threat into your absolute greatest asset. It all starts with a major mental shift, what the protocol calls the polarity engine. Basically, we have to stop labeling everything that happens as either good or bad. That's the old way. Instead, you start seeing events as forces of compression and expansion, kind of like yin and yang. They're just dynamics you observe and work with, not things you judge. Think about it. Our old instinct, the one caught in that stability trap, it always tells us to do the same thing. Build a fortress, right? Build thick walls, dig a deep moat, a static, rigid defense designed to keep all the scary, chaotic stuff out. But we all know what happens to fortresses. Eventually, they crumble. They're brittle. So the Entropic Resilience Protocol says, forget the fortress, scrap that plan entirely. Instead, you build a gyroscope. Now, a gyroscope is a completely different kind of structure. It's not about being static and strong, it's all about dynamic equilibrium. It's about balance through movement. And this is the absolute genius of the whole idea. What makes a gyroscope stable? Motion, spin. The faster the world spins around it, the more volatility and chaos it's hit with, the more stable the gyroscope becomes. It literally feeds on the very thing a fortress is terrified of. So when you embrace this new model, this new way of thinking, it leads to a pretty profound transformation. You stop being a victim of change, constantly on the defensive, always reacting. Instead, you become a true beneficiary of chaos. You literally learn how to devour change. So let's bring this right back to you personally. Your career isn't some static fortress you build once and then defend for 30 years. Your business isn't either. Your life is a gyroscope. It is designed to find its balance through motion, to constantly adapt, and to use all those forces of change to find its center. And this powerful thought just brings it all home. Most people fear change. My model devours it. The ultimate realization here is that we are actually designed for this. We're literally built to take in chaos and metabolize it, to turn it directly into growth. So I want to leave you with this question to really think about. Look at your own life right now. Look at the uncertainty, the volatility, the stress. And instead of seeing it as a threat, something that's trying to knock down your fortress, ask yourself this. what chaos in my life right now could actually be fuel?